Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, and today I'm here to give you my extremely late, but still, my thoughts on chapters 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian. Now, The Mandalorian is Disney's Plus flagship show. I've already reviewed Disney Plus, so you know what I think about that. But The Mandalorian is Disney Plus's flagship show. It's a major show. It's the first ever Star Wars live action show. It was pretty much the most talked about thing all last week. Pretty much the entirety of last week. It's still one of the most talked about things going into this week. Got a new episode coming out on Friday, so in 3 days, got a new episode coming out. And it's been insanity right now. Like hashtag Mando, hashtag Baby Yoda. if you watch The Mandalorian, you know what I'm talking about. But let me just get into this. I'm going to spoil it because it's been a couple days now. It's been, 4 days since the last episode? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, it's been 4 days, about to be 5 days now since it last happened. So I'm going to just get right into it. This is going to be a spoiler-filled, my spoiler-filled thoughts on The Mandalorian. Now, first of all, I'm going to just come off that and say I love this show. It is phenomenal. It is different than any other Star Wars thing out there, and it's unique in the fact that it uses a lot more practical effects than most big budget anything these days would even use. But when it does use CGI, it is beautiful. It is great CGI. It looks like a movie. Like in the beginning, the first thing you see, one of the first big CGI things you see is like this giant walrus, like giant Leviathan thing that jumps out of the ice and tries to, take the Mandalorian ship down with him, and the thing looks amazing. Even the CGI when he shocks it with this fucking poker gun, like electric gun, even looks amazing too. So like the show looks amazing. First of all, let me just get out the off top stuff. First of all, the cinematography is fantastic. It looks beautiful. There are some shots that are just gorgeous. There's one shot in the second, in chapter 2, the child, where he's walking up a hill with the sun kind of hitting him in this way that just reminds you of classic Old West movies. But it's just beautifully directed. The music is great. In fact, I have fallen in love with the Mandalorian's theme. It's called The Mandalorian. It's made by this guy named, I'm not even trying to say his name. Lawrence Sorensen. I can't say his name. He's definitely foreign. And if you're wondering, this is the same. The guy who made the Mandalorian theme is the same guy who did the music for Black Panther and Creed. So this guy knows what he's doing. If you've watched Black Panther and Creed, you know that the themes in those movies were fantastic. So this guy is like 3 for 3 as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what else he's done, but those are the 3 movies but those are the things that I'm aware of, and I love the Mandalorian theme. It's got this interesting West sound to it with a bit of a Star Wars orchestra playing, but it has this galloping sound that is like, this is a Western dun 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 dun. Like it's you gotta hear it to put it to mind. I am loving the show. Anywho, getting to the cast. You don't meet all the people that you're going to meet throughout the course of the show in these 2 episodes. They're short episodes. I'm going to just let people know that right off the bat. If they're expecting The Mandalorian to be an hour-long, like, Game of Thrones-ish thing where it's multiple characters and all these characters have different conversations and it's an hour-long drop, it's not that. The Mandalorian is not that. It is a single character that you are following, and these are 30 to 40 minute episodes. And it seems like the way they're doing it is it just depends on how much time they need. Now, it could be that they're doing it this way because they release 2 in 1 week and they plan on releasing once a week. So it might be the next episodes are an hour and like, oh, we just gave you half and half because we wanted to, because we just split it up. But we wanted to get you used to looking at it, anticipating Fridays. And the next episodes will be hours-long episodes, and, we'll be back to business as usual. Or this could be how they're going to do it, in which case it's not that bad, as long as it's a great story being told. Some people are losing their shit about it. Me, personally, I don't care how long the story is, as long as there's a good story told. The irony that people have been up Marvel and other companies' ass for making things too long, for milking everything for all it's worth, that now they're like, okay, we're going to just do what we came to do and call it a day. And then they're like, whoa, wait a minute, why aren't you milking this longer? It's like, what do you want from us? But anywho, so if you're looking for Game of Thrones replacement, don't come here. If you're looking for something that's going to be that long, don't come here. These episodes are short, precise. There's no fat on that bone. Boom, you get what you need, and then they're out of there. But getting to the cast, Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian does a great job, and he has a hard task anyways in this. I knew he was going to have a hard task even from the trailers, because they're doing the Dread thing where he doesn't take his helmet off. At least he doesn't take his helmet off for the first 2 episodes. And I said this before, Carl Urban in Dread was great, phenomenal. But at least he had the lower part of his mouth to like emote or do some kind of facial expressions. You can kind of read something out of that. Pedro ain't got none of that. Pedro Pascal's just got the full helmet on all times and all this armor, so it's even harder for him. But he does this amazing job at doing so much with the way he's talking, and when not only the way he talks and the way he moves, it's his body language. Yeah, his body language tells a lot. His body language when he nods his head, when he's staring off, when he's like, he does a lot of things with body language, and he does a lot of great things with just grunts. Like just a simple does a lot. like it goes so far because like he's a serious dude. So like when he does grunts and stuff, it's even got more comedy. The way they're playing it up is like he is Strong Hand Luke, man. He is screw Strong Hand Luke. They play it up like he is the man with no name from the Dollar Trilogy. Like he is from Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He's from Fistful of Dollars. He's Clint Eastwood. The way they play him up, he is a bad mofo who's coming into town, is gonna do what he needs to do to catch the person he needs to catch, and he's gonna go home and cash that check. Like that's the way they play him up. I mean, that's the way he wants to present himself. And you really start to see the layers peeled on him when the episodes go on. The further the episodes go on, you start to realize that no, he's just a dude. Episode 2 really emphasized the fact that yes, he's a badass. Yes, he's a gunslinger. Yes, he's an outlaw. But he is just a man. And underneath all that armor, he is flawed. He isn't perfect. He can't just whoop everyone's ass. Sometimes life doesn't work out for him. He doesn't have a perfect plan all the time. Like episode 2 really made you like go, okay, look, he's a great player character and a great outlaw, but he is not perfect. But getting into like the other characters, you meet this one character named Grief, played by Carl Weathers, aka Action Jackson, aka Apollo Creed. Carl Weathers. Played by Carl Weathers, and it seems like him and the Mandalorian have a pretty good working relationship. I mean, pretty good enough that he gave him an off-the-books contract. Funny thing about this show is it really does explore the idea of, when you destroy a government or a regime, evil or not, and you don't have a plan for once that regime is done, you can kind of find yourself in a situation where what's happening is maybe even worse than what was happening when they were running things. Because at least when they were running things, sure, people were oppressed. Sure, things were bad. Sure, it was a whole bunch of awful things happening. But now it's just lawlessness. Now it's just nonsense without a cause. Now it's nonsense without a face. It's just insane. It's just lawlessness and people doing what the fuck they want to do, and hard times for everyone, and certain currency isn't as much as it used to be, and Mandalorian makes a comment about not having even enough money to pay for fuel with something that with the way they said it was as if this would have been enough to pay for fuel and some before the Empire fell. Now it's not even enough to pay for fuel. And it's kind of fascinating to see, and they don't really get into it, but you can kind of pick and match what you want to get out of it. And then there are 2 other characters introduced, 3 that are standouts. 4. You know what? I'm going to say 4. The 4 of the characters that are introduced that are standouts. Werner Herzog, who is this German actor who is well renowned for playing Nazis for playing Nazis in films and doing a fantastic job playing Nazis and playing different kind of evil people, is in this, and he has a beautiful monologue, which is funny because like what a lot of people say, like it kind of added a bit of class to the entire series, getting an artistic actor of his nature to come in and play a role like that. He was interesting. You got a lot out of him. Also, Nick Nolte playing an Ugnaught called I can't remember the Ugnaught name he's playing, but That Ugnaught has one of the biggest phrases of the entire series, "I have spoken." That is on t-shirts, that is all over the place. And like "I have spoken" is just, it's just perfect, man. In every conversation, like, "I have spoken." Boom. That's all you gotta do. And there's an android named LG88. It's either IG88 or LG88. I can't remember, but it's one of those droids from the not Return of the Empire, Attack of the Empire, where you saw all those mercenaries, and like one of them was a droid, and you never actually got to see what the droid did. And this show shows you what that droid can do, and the droid's doing all kinds of stuff. It's twisting his body, and it makes perfect sense because the droid can move his eyes, so he doesn't need to do shit like normal people. He can just move his eyes and move his arms, and he's got mechanical parts, so it's just nothing to him, and he's just taking people out, and it's great. The droid is voiced by Taika Waititi, who, if you don't know who Taika Waititi is, he's the director of Thor Ragnarok and the voice of Korg, the Rock Man, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you don't know who Taika is, then I'm just throwing that out there for you. And obviously the introduction of the big spoiler at the end of episode 1 was Baby Yoda. Oh, okay, it's not Baby Yoda. It's not Baby Yoda per se. It is a species that is of Yoda's species. Now, no one knows what the fuck the species is because George Lucas has never told anyone what the species is. It's a whole conspiracy. It's a whole lot of stuff going on right now about that. We don't know. They don't know. They're not telling us anything. I'm just going to call him, everyone's just calling him Baby Yoda, so I'm going to stick with Baby Yoda. And they have this amazing shootout in the first episode. It was an old school Western shootout, even in the dirt, and it was just like this old school Western shootout at the corral. It's just a shootout. It was an old school Western shootout with laser guns, and it was a pretty badass shootout. But you get to the second episode, the second chapter, I should say, it starts to go into the details of the Baby Yoda, or at least showing us something that we already kind of had an inkling. When we first saw chapter 1, most people in their minds were like, can this baby use the Force? And then chapter 2 just immediately goes, yes, this baby can. And it's kind of hinted that the baby can heal people. It's kind of the baby stops one of these giant rhinoceros things. I don't know what it quite was before, stops it in its mid-stride, so it couldn't even move. By the way, in episode 1, you do learn a little bit more about the Mandalorian as well. You learn that he's a foundling, which basically means that his parents were killed during the Clone Wars. Well, maybe not the Clone Wars. Yeah, is it Clone Wars? I guess it would be Clone Wars. I'm not sure. His parents were killed around that time, okay? He's a foundling, because this takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so his parents were killed during one of the wars, either in the tail end of the Clone Wars or something like that, but his parents were killed during the Clone Wars. He was found by Mandalorians and raised in their ways. He is a Mandalorian, purebred Mandalorian, but he was found by them and raised in their ways. It seems like he's not quite a member of them yet. It seems like he's still paving his way. Because Werner Herzog's character gives him a bar of, what is it, Bisgard? I think it's called Bisgard. And it's basically this metal that's pretty much well known, that Mandalorians use. And it deflects energy bolts and even lightsaber strikes. So this is some tough metal, okay? This metal is badass. And there's not a lot and apparently it's not that too much left. Even the Mandalorian, his helmet's only made out of Beskar. I don't know what the rest of his other armor's made out of, but his helmet's the only thing that's really made out of Beskar. And it shows in the second episode when you notice that all his other pieces of armor that he has on him are getting fucked up, other than the newly made shoulder I don't even know what to call that. Shoulder piece. And his helmet. His helmet and the shoulder piece are fine. The other armor is the shit that's getting fucked up. Now, they have sort of spoiled that eventually he's gonna have a whole set of Beskar armor, which means he's gonna be completely untouchable eventually. But they haven't spoiled that yet, so. I mean, they've already spoiled that, but. So that eventually he's gonna steadily get more and more armor, so which makes me wonder, is he gonna give the baby to Werner Herzog? I don't know, I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But yeah, you see him interacting with them, and him trying to give to them, and he gave them a portion of it to save more foundlings. So it's an interesting story with that too. But getting into that second episode, really getting to the nitty gritty, it's obvious that because he kills LG-11 because LG-11 has orders to kill the baby. And even in the second episode, I can't remember these Tranosians. Tranosians. I can never say the name correctly. I'm terrible at these Star Wars names. They show up and try to attack him, and they have the beeping device, the beeping tracking device too, which basically means someone else sent them to kill the baby because they weren't even trying to capture the baby. They're just trying to kill the baby. So, obviously, something's going on. That's all I can tell you. Obviously, there are multiple people going out there to get this baby. Second episode was kind of funny too because it had the fucking Jawas were like stripping down his ship, and he got pissed off and started fucking disintegrating their ass. Just started blinking, and it was pretty funny. And then he went to this almost Indiana Jones like scene where he's climbing the top of it. He's dodging out of stuff at the last second. He's still climbing, and it was pretty funny. It was a pretty fun episode. Like, a lot of people think that second episode was filler, but I do think you get a lot of character stuff. You get more character stuff between him and the baby. You get between the baby Yoda. You get more information on the baby Yoda. It's just a fun time. Like, I don't know why everyone's so fucking uppity about, it was a waste of time. Well, it wasn't a waste of time. It was a fun time. Like, I don't know what the big deal is. But anyways, if I had to give the show a grade so far, I'd probably give it a 9.5. I am loving this show. I barely have a single problem with this thing, man. I'm enjoying it. I wish it was longer. But you know what? I'm okay. I'm alright. I'll be fine. So thank you for joining me in the Comic Game Movie Show. What do you think about The Mandalorian? Please comment below. Let me know. And I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.